Oh, okay. Well, we're starting a few minutes early at 5 minutes to 11, and we are recording. So today our topic is divine purpose. And divine purpose is all about what you came to the world to do, what God's purpose is for you, what you soul contracted to come into the world to do. I am really, really excited for everyone to be here. So let's get started. I'm having a few people tune in and get really going here with class. All right, looking for our wonderful topics today is divine purpose. We're going to be doing readings and healings in the second half of today's class. So we'll officially be starting in about 4 minutes. This is the warm-up time, getting us started, making sure that we have our recording on, making sure that we are all good to go. Now, today we are going to be focusing on why are you here? What are you called to do? What is your heart's yearning? I have been following my divine purpose for most of my life. I said a special prayer when I was 19 years old, asking to be able to serve in a really big way God's kingdom. And the journey has been incredible, an incredible ride of learning experiences. Now, remember, our divine purpose is not only executing some wonderful things in the world to make a positive difference, it's also a process of learning and growing. So as we're learning and growing and making a big difference in the world, we are becoming who God has intended us to become. And in the process of becoming, we are able to really, really get a handle on the abilities, the God-given abilities that we have within us. In fact, the anointings that we have, that God has anointed us to do certain special work. Now, how do we figure out what is our divine purpose? What is our divine calling? What have we been anointed to do in this world? How do you learn and discover what that is? Well, we're going to actually go through a process today where you can figure out not only your divine purpose, but your soul lesson as well. So let's get started. I'd like you to get out your notebook and your pen if you have that available. And you're going to work on this project with me together. Hey, Rhonda, super happy to see you joining. We today are working on divine purpose, what it is, how we figure out what our divine calling is. Some people call it our soul mission or our soul purpose. I like to call it our divine purpose, as I feel that we are co-creating in the world. We're co-creating our miracles and our magic that we were born with. Now, I honestly, in my heart of hearts, feel that we are all earth angels sent by God to make a positive difference in the world. However, some people have chosen to be activated earth angels, and they intentionally are working to make a positive difference in the world. I feel other people are not activated yet. They may be deactivated just because of things that have gone on in our lives, different traumas, different things that have sent us on a path that has been not easy, and for lack of better words, not pleasant. And sometimes there's a portion of our life where we are deactivated because we're really just working on trying to learn and grow. And then we come to a place, and there's a special day in our life where we decide that we want to work as an earth angel. We want to be on our divine purpose. We want to execute our soul mission. Who's with me there? If you're with me, raise your hand, send me a chat, a little text and say, I'm with you, Camille. Okay, good. Thumbs up as well. Awesome. Okay, so sometimes your special day when you decide to be on your divine purpose, I call it giving your heart to God and asking God to come within your heart and to work within you and invite God in. I know sometimes we are aware that yes, God lives in our heart, but when you invite God, then you are choosing to activate your divine purpose and your soul mission, same thing. And then it's a matter of following your true calling, your divine calling. And sometimes we're on several different ones along a lifetime. It's not always the same exact purpose each and every year. Sometimes we accomplish one and then we get to the next point, and then we get to the next point where we're almost like, wow, everything was going smoothly. And now I feel like I'm being put on a new journey, a new path. Who feels like, yeah, I think I've had 2 or 3 or 4 of those already in this one lifetime. And it doesn't mean that what the end result is too much different, but how you're going to do your work, the capacity in which you deliver your divine work can be very much different over a lifetime. So I remember at 19 years old, I decided I wanted to be on my divine calling, and I've been on it ever since. And the journey has been very eye-opening. It's been very exciting, blissful, and trying at times. So if you're a parent, that is one of your divine purposes. So that's one. If you're married, that's another divine purpose. If you are working in a career that you don't feel soul aligned with, you can still, within that career, be your activated earth angel, because we can always have a kind word to say to someone. We can always have a random act of kindness for somebody, whether it is a coworker, whether it is a client or a customer or a student or somebody that is taking part in the business or the organization that you work in. And this way you are always, always working to make a positive difference in the world. Now, many of us say, well, that's all great, but I really want to be doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing. I really want to be within that realm. So that's where we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty today. And we're going to work on exactly what is your divine purpose. Who wants to find out what your divine purpose is? Okay, show a raise of hands. You can put a thumbs up. You can put something in the chat line. Awesome, awesome. Great. So Rhonda and Caleb, thank you for being here today. This show is being recorded and it will be played randomly on all different cable television networks throughout 195 nations around the world over the next week or two. So the only way to tune into my show every Thursday at exactly 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time, where I'm located, is for you to hit the link. And that way you can enjoy our brand new show, New York's Divine Channel, Camille Conti. You can have it all. And I'm here to remind you that you already do have it all. It's all lies within you. And now it's about activating it. It's about taking action. And sometimes it's about stepping into the process of enlightenment and conscious awareness. And the best way to do that is to dive deep into self-awareness. Really diving into who am I and where am I going? What am I doing? What are my special talents? What are my heart's yearnings and desires? What is my bliss? Where do I find complete joy and happiness? Because those are the things that are going to guide you to your divine purpose. And when you feel soul aligned and you feel like you're in the right place in your life where you're doing the work that you feel called to do. Now, those of you who feel like I have no clue, okay, that's fine too, because that's why you're here watching this show. And I want to tell you, your divine calling can sometimes be intimidating, and it can also be frightening. It also is exhilarating, exciting, and sometimes overwhelming. Who has any of those emotions going on right now where you feel like, yes, I'm taking steps to work within my divine calling, and I am pushing myself out of my comfort zone? Because I will tell you that going to the next level in your divine purpose will definitely take you out of your comfort zone. And you know you're on the right track if you're excited yet scared or frightened, and feel exhilarated and feel whole, and then still feel like a fish out of water and have mixed emotions going on. However, I have to say that once you continue to put yourself out there, it will start feeling more natural. So your butterflies that you have in your stomach flying around will start flying in formation. And isn't that a good thing? That once we begin to become familiar with the work, we will begin to start feeling like, okay, I know where to put my foot in front of the other foot, one step at a time, baby steps. And as you are working baby step at a time, you will start getting into your comfort zone. Now, here, I'm going to share with you from my own personal experience. Once you've been in your comfort zone for a while, divine decides to say, all right, good, you've got a handle on this. Let's take you to the next level. And you would think that it would be done gently. Well, sometimes it is, but oftentimes it's not. And if we feel like we're being called and drawn to a next level of service, it might be that you're supposed to be writing a book. It might be that you are supposed to be starting a particular business. It might be that you're supposed to be starting to work at a different company or organization. It may be that you are beginning your speaking business or a television show like I have just started. It might be something more gentle, maybe not so large of an undertaking. It may be that you are supposed to be taking care of a certain population of people. There's a certain population. It might be the elderly. It might be children. It might be special needs children. It may be animals. It may be that you really feel that you're supposed to be living in a particular part of the world and helping maybe water supplies or food supplies, or teaching motivational and inspirational concepts and life coaching and business coaching, maybe helping divine women really be able to start their own business in a third world country. You have heart's desires. We all do. And we need to examine those. So today we're going to be looking into what it is exactly that your next right step is on your divine purpose. And if it is something that makes you feel like, wow, wouldn't that be amazing if I did that? And then you're saying, how am I going to do that? Am I the right person to do this? Okay, I'm going to tell you what. From a lot of experience working with clients, as I have hundreds of clients and students that have graduated from my academy. It's a personal and business development academy for divine intervention, divine orchestration, and divine training. Master Teacher Divine Channel NLP life coaching, practitioner level. We have a lot of different programs. I'm going to tell you that was just a dream years ago, a huge dream. How am I going to do this? When will I have the proper resources? And if you set your heart that you're opened to this yearning, because the yearning comes from divine. The seed is planted from divine, and then the yearning starts. And sometimes you're questioning, well, am I the right one? Well, I'm going to tell you what, if you are questioning whether you're the right one, then you are absolutely, definitely the right one, because you have the humility and you're humble enough to know that maybe you're not going to be perfect at this. Maybe you're not going to know how to do it. And maybe you're going to need some teachers, some coaches, and some training. I'm going to tell you that you definitely do. Along my journey, I've always had teachers and coaches helping me to get to the next step and to make the right decisions. Of course, being able to go inward and do your prayer and meditation time daily and journal and ask your higher self and divine, your spiritual counsel, all your guardian angels and guides for guidance and direction is your step number one. That's your first step. In fact, your spiritual counsel, all your guardian angels and guides, all of divine, your higher self, which is your oversoul that knows your past, your present, and future, that is your team that's going to help you find the right teachers and coaches and courses and programs and training in order to help you. Definitely don't think that you're going to be a one-woman show or a one-man show. This is a women's network. So I'll probably be referring to women more often, since this show is broadcasted on the Win Win Women Network on cable televisions like Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, lots of cable channels, and it will be broadcasted in 195 nations around the world over the next week. And then I know that the Win-Win Network producers do select shows to put on replay randomly on different days, different times, as they decide with the topics that are being covered and the popularity and everything. So you can always tune in to any of those and find this show, but we will be holding it within the Win-Win Network, where you can basically sit there and watch a bunch of episodes in a row once we've gotten a lot of them logged in there. This is our first recorded episode of our brand new show, New York's Divine Channel. You can have it all. So welcome. Thank you for coming in today and for being a part of my divine purpose and me being able to execute my soul mission, be working as an activated earth angel. So who here wants to be working as an activated earth angel, doing your divine calling? And by the way, making a mint doing it. There is nothing and no one, and especially not divine, who says that you have to take a vow of poverty just to do your divine calling. Absolutely not. Quite contrary. The opposite. This is the place where you can make not only a lot of money, however, you can make a lot of contacts, a lot of friends, a lot of positive energy in your life. So working in your divine purpose is always going to be your very best place. And if you are one of those souls, and I've met a lot of them over the years in my private coaching practice, in my agency, as well as in my academy of Divine Rich CEO, rich in all things, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, socially, in all areas. I've met a lot of souls that are what I would call overachievers, where they have several soul missions or divine purposes to accomplish in one lifetime. And I happen to be one of those. And I didn't, of course, when I think about it now, I'm like, isn't that a crazy idea to sign up to have so many soul purposes? I think it's the souls that decide, well, if I'm coming here to planet Earth, the most challenging university to develop your soul, your enlightenment process, your conscious awareness, to grow and expand. I'm going to get a lot out of it, and I'm going to get a lot done so that I don't have to keep coming back again and again and again. However, I do believe that we're allowed to have a vacation lifetime as a result of all of our lessons being learned in other lifetimes and our soul missions being accomplished. So being on your divine purpose as an aggressive, or what I call an assertive soul, sometimes you don't get a gentle transition onto the next divine purpose or the next soul mission. Sometimes it's like everything's going great and smoothly, and it's working, and you're happy and you're full of joy, and people are being positively impacted by your work. And then suddenly it's not anymore. And you're not comfortable, and you're feeling drawn in another direction, and you're like, what's going on? And that's because it's time for you to go on the next soul mission. And oftentimes we have to get really laser lucid clear with ourselves. We've got to get our journal out. I like to light a candle, say a special prayer, and then ask for divine guidance and ask, what are my next right steps? What am I supposed to be doing? And by the way, I don't think that God gets mad if we sometimes get mad ourselves and maybe even yell and swear. Now, maybe some people would disagree with me. However, I've been one of those people, and I feel like God has not fired me. Maybe put me on timeout, maybe put me through some new lessons. Maybe I had to learn some new lessons, because probably if we're yelling and fighting and arguing with God, that's probably because we're stretching and we're being pulled out of our comfort zone. And I've met a lot of people who've been called to start a business or write a book or completely change their career and go into a completely different field. And they're not always happy at first, because change is not always comfortable. It's not always easy, and it's a little bit frightening, but we have to stay in our faith. We can't go into fear. We have to go into our faith. Faith is being able to believe in the things that are unseen, but that are in our heart. So knowing that when you have asked God to be able to co-create this particular project or mission, have faith that your prayer has been answered, and that all you have to do is take the steps forward and move toward it. So that is what I am recommending that you do today. If you have tuned in, and welcome all of you who have tuned in and are tuning in during the recording around the world. If you have decided enough is enough, I've gone through the pandemic, I'm still alive, I haven't gotten wiped off the planet yet. I must be here for a purpose, and I want to be working within my purpose. No more of this playing small. No more of this operating upon fear instead of faith. I'm just going to go for it. I'm throwing caution to the wind, and I'm going to go for it. I know that I've had times in my life where it was like, all right, enough is enough. I'm not going to play small anymore, and I'm not going to second guess myself. I know who I am, and it's okay if not everybody likes you. It's not okay if everybody believes in what you're doing. What we're doing sometimes when we're following our divine purpose is very unique. It's very different. A lot of us are trailblazers. A lot of us are pioneers. I have been a pioneer all my life with the different projects that I have been on, creating a certified organic clean beauty cosmetic company well over 20 years ago. And it's now the popular thing, but 20 years ago, it was not. It was very unique and different. However, trailblazers are the ones that are doing things when they're not popular, when not everybody understands why you're doing it. Not everybody thinks that it's worth the extra money, because of course it's extra cost to have organic cosmetics versus non-organic. And then when I started my psychic medium divine channel work and being a woman of God, there's the people who are looking at you going, what is she doing now? And learning about past lives. These were all things that were quite out of my comfort zone when I started. I remember when a very important person in my life who was very credible and had helped me with a lot of big things that were important to me in my life and in my family, with my family members as well, had said, you really need to find out who you were in a past life and who your family members were and why you're on this journey now, because we were going through a difficult time, and why you're doing what you're doing and what the purpose is of this lifetime. And I didn't even believe in past lives back then. However, they have become a big part of my divine purpose of teaching other people about them. Because when I dove in, so that I can at least show that I have the understanding of the English language here. When I dove in, making fun of myself here, because if you can't laugh at yourself, what are you going to be doing out in public, right? So as I dove in to understand these past lives, and I did take the advice of a well-trusted friend, practitioner of mine, and decide to find out what my past lives were, or at least the one that I was healing in this lifetime, because we're always healing one or two past lives in our current lifetime. And when I found out what it was, and I found out what some of my family members were, I was astonished. And it made the stuff that I was going through more sensible. It also made me feel more accomplished or successful during a time where I wasn't feeling that at all, because I could see how I was ahead of the game from my last lifetime. And so were certain family members that we had done some past life regression work with. So I highly recommend it. If you've never had a past life regression, you can definitely contact me. I am a certified consulting hypnotist and neurolinguistics programming practitioner, as well as a divine channel. So I customize and channel in the information as well when we're doing the session. And that was a huge turning point in my life. I was able to fully surrender to the journey, to the soul lessons and the soul mission. So if you're having a hard time and you're fighting your divine purpose and it's like it's maybe exciting, but it's intimidating or frightening or overwhelming, or you're feeling like, am I even able to do this? Then have a session, have either a past life regression done or have a reading done to get the information, not only from your higher self, but from your spiritual counsel. And that's how I do my readings. We'll check in and we'll find out what the heck is going on. And sometimes that will give you such nice peace of mind. You'll be able to rest and relax and feel so much better, and also feel empowered and feel like, wow, I've actually already done this before in other lifetimes. Because sometimes I'm working with somebody who is starting this big daunting project that, yes, they're excited about. However, they feel like a fish out of water. They've never done it before. They don't know what to do next, or who to contact, or who's going to help them. And then we do a past life regression, and we find out that they are a famous publisher, a famous author from another lifetime, or a famous clothing designer or cosmetic designer from another lifetime, or they were royalty and they were in the royal families, or we find out so many unique things. And I'm able to walk you into your past life within the hypnosis realm. And we're going to be able to, you can actually see it and feel it. And that's what makes people so excited and intrigued and a believer, is because you can actually see it and feel it. within that state, that trance-like state of hypnosis, which is incredible. And so if you are feeling like, well, I need confirmation on what my divine purpose is, then that is an excellent tool. And you can just send me a message through my email at Camille@CamilleConti.com. And you can also go on and apply to enroll in my academy. And that is at divineceochat.com. So divineceochat.com. You can also just hit my website and everything is found within the website, and that's CamilleConti.com. So this is the little last 5 minutes of the 30-minute recorded portion of the show. And then we're going to move into at 11:30 New York time. That's 8:30 PST time. And I know there's different time zones all around the world, but in the next 5 minutes, we're going to move into the unrecorded portion where we have an interactive portion of the show. And I'm going to be doing some free readings, and you can check in on what your divine purpose is or some things about your next right steps with me. If you stay with me and continue to stay tuned in to the show for the second half of it, where we do the interactive free sessions. And I will love to have you. I also have some giveaways that I'm giving away today. I can't tell you what they are yet until we get to the other section, but there's definitely good reason to stay tuned and be a part of it. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is ask yourself, what is something that you've always wanted to do? You feel like it might be way above your resources and abilities, but you really would love to do it. So the question is, if you could do anything and you would succeed, and that you would not fail, that you would succeed, what would it be? Put it in the chat line. If you are participating live, put it in the chat line. If you're not participating live and you're listening to this later on, then definitely send me an email at Camille@CamilleConti.com and let me know what it is that you would like help with and confirmation with for your divine purpose. And let me know if you are really just searching for a better understanding of what in the world is my divine purpose. I've had a really roller coaster lifetime, and I want to know what in the heck am I supposed to actually be doing here, because I feel lost. And you might. And if you feel lost, then again, stay for the second half of the interactive. And if you are listening to this recorded, then go ahead and email me at Camille@CamilleConti.com or go on my website, CamilleConti.com, and hit the information and be able to send me a message right through there on the Contact Us page. So go ahead and join the group of people that it's actually hundreds of people now who I have worked with over the years. It's probably even getting closer to maybe even getting closer to 1,000, I would have to say. Join the people who have decided to dive in and find out who they were in some of their other lifetimes and why they are doing what they're doing in this lifetime. You might find out that you're actually an old pro and you've been doing it for over 20 lifetimes, and that you really just need to stop being so humble and believe in yourself, because God wants to use you in this capacity, and you have backup. You have divine intervention on your side. You have divine orchestration on your side. You have a lot of help. You're not alone. You have a lot of help to get you where you are working to get to. So welcome aboard for those of you who have decided today to activate your Earth Angel status and step into your divine calling with courage and your brave attitude, your entrepreneurial spirit in some cases, or your adventurous spirit. Welcome aboard. Let's go ahead and do a meditation to decide to activate our Earth Angel status and step into our divine calling and make a mint doing it. Okay, so Divine, we call you in today and we thank you for bringing us all together, all around the world, divine women deciding to step into their divine purpose and activate their God-given gifts and abilities and their anointing to do and be certain things to create an impact in the world of positivity, of love, of light, of peace, of joy, and tranquility. We thank you now for blessing each and every one of these women and men that are saying this meditation, this intention, or this prayer, however they relate to this right now. We ask that you co-create with them their divine purpose, help them to know exactly what their next right step is, to find the right people, to help them on their journey, and to be supported with all the resources that they need, whether it be a new house, a new vehicle, whether it be more money, whether it be more people that are going to be on their team to help them. And we thank you in advance for giving them all the tools, all the guidance, and all the wisdom, and the appropriate people to follow their divine calling and make good money, make a mint doing it, and be able to live their lifestyle from their soul aligned work instead of having to do work that doesn't fill their hearts with joy. We thank you now in the name of all of love, all of light, and all of divine. Amen and amen and amen. And thank you and thank you and thank you. And so it is. So put your hands up in the air and say, so it is. Okay. That it's now the time to switch over to the non-recorded section and do the interactive. So if you would like a free reading, please raise your hand or put it in the chat line. And you're going to be getting a free gift today too for participating with the having the reading done. We can check in on your divine purpose. We can check in on your past life. We can check in on your next right step for your life. It depends on what you feel drawn to that you would like to do. Okay, so I'm just wondering if I'm supposed to hit pause recording or stop recording. I think that's what I'm supposed to do here. Are you wanting to stop the recording?